Okay, so welcome to Paraneon. This is our, I think, eighth session. Should be something like that. Um, and this session is between mostly Melissa and Ryan, and effectively what has been happening since the last session in text was that Ryan was invited to Samuel's house by Melissa, who recently just revealed her identity as Melissa to Ryan, and now so they know who each other kind of are, and we're sort of establishing that they've shared sort of a moment, like a dramatic moment, and that happened, and Melissa revealed to her that, oh, I know where your father is, and Ryan has been looking for her father for a very long time. So Melissa told her, like, I know your father, because they met him in the last session. So now they're going to spend the rest of the day waiting for him to be available. And then hopefully. Oh, yes. I should clarify that. She believes her father is dead, so she was trying to investigate who killed her father. That was the whole sort of investigation that she was trying to go through with. And so now we're sort of going to find out the truth in this sort of finale to the story and sort of wrap up everything that we've been doing for the last 2 months. So a lot of decisions are going to be made. A lot of very important choices are going to be sort of decided here, and the entire future of someone's life may hang in the balance. So allow us to commence. So the last thing that happened was sort of the nurse who was treating Melissa sort of saw the two of you sort of doing what you were doing, and sort of intervened by trying to get Melissa to kind of come back sitting down because you had stood up. And she's like, you shouldn't do that because you're wounded and you're trying to recover, so you should probably, rest.
All right.
And that was the last thing that happened before we're moving into this scene. So do you have any kind of response to that, or are you going to just ignore?
No, my response was I was heading back to the couch.
Okay, so you're gonna go do that. So you kind of lay back down.
Mm. Yeah, Melissa's just really relaxed a little bit because she was still injured.
And just for Ryan's perspective, you know who this nurse is because she works at the school, and you've assumedly, like, you're aware of who she is, but you're not sure why she's here in this house because she works at the school, and obviously you don't know why they're here now, but they are.
Yeah, I feel like compared to all the other weird stuff that she's had to witness, the nurse being there is like the least of her concerns.
Oh, for sure. I'm just pointing out that you're not. It's not like you don't recognize this person. And the nurse kind of looks at you for a moment. Ryan, what are you doing here?
I could ask you the same thing.
Well, I mean, we were having a meeting, but I think it got broken up. So now I'm just trying to make sure that Miss Darkwell is okay. And she looks down at Melissa.
She's affiliated with the master of the house.
Well, that's not ominous.
I just got spiked, so I was like, fuck it.
A bit, yeah. Sadly, he won't be around for quite some time. I think it was 9, 10-ish. I'm not so sure when he'll awake.
What do you mean by awake?
Well, right now they've how do I put it? They become a bit nocturnal, I guess you could put it. And they can't really wake up at this time. It's kind of like if someone were to try and wake you up at 3 a.m. in the morning, you'd want to beat the living crap out of them. Well, so to speak. You know what I mean.
Yeah, but if isn't this so like fucking important, shouldn't we go wake him up?
You see, he woke up earlier and he was very upset, is the best way to put it. So I thought it best to
The
just-
nurse is like nodding, like as if she like is trying to back up your statement.
one thing led to another, and well, let's just say I prefer to let him rest before he comes to us again.
Well, I'm not like hanging out here all day. I only came because your text made it sound like it was something urgent and you were in trouble, but apparently you're just like, I don't know, hanging out, having a tea party with the nurse.
I mean, to be fair, she has like an ice pack and like her head is like kind of, I mean, it would be kind of swollen. Like you have like the signs of like kind of being a bit injured. Like your chin is kind of messed up and like your head is kind of
Lower jaw is
Red?
swollen at this point.
yeah, kind of thing. But she doesn't look that severely injured, but it's clear that she was beaten up by something. And she's got like ice
Yeah,
And,
I guess
like,
I did.
and, pressures and stuff.
I guess I did call you over a bit early. I apologize. That must have jumped the gun.
Like, come on, punch, come on, punch, come on, punch.
Well, yeah. So if you would like to leave, then come back. That works too. But oh no, I guess I thought it would be better to get you familiarized with the situation before it actually happens.
I don't know why you're being so cryptic. Why don't you just say what you're going to say?
Because it's not in my place to say, I guess.
Oh, but it was in your place to tell me that my father is still alive and that you found him.
If you want me to be straight with you, he'll be around at 10 o'clock tonight.
You expect me to believe my father is going to be here at 10 o'clock tonight? I just don't get, like, what's your angle with all this? I just don't see why you're involved at all.
My angle in all this?
I was on the both angles. Yeah.
Why did you come here? That's a good question. Like the nurse is asking you that too.
Well,
Celty didn't seem too happy to see you here.
yeah, Celty kind of dragged me here after I asked one too many questions.
I came after. I didn't know they dragged you here. That's terrible.
Okay.
I don't
Nurse,
know. Give me one reason why I should stick around, and not just blow you guys all off. I mean, you're all fucking nuts.
The nurse is like kind of looks offended.
Nurse, where's his bedroom?
I saw him go upstairs. I'm not sure.
Okay.
I took the point and I was mentioning what
I have a better idea. Nurse, could you please go get Salty?
All right. If you say so. Just don't, move too much.
Mhm.
She just starts walking up the stairs.
Sorry, who's Celty?
Salty is one of your classmates who lives here. Yeah, it's not a pretty place, but
What?
essentially should be able to show you
What do you
around the
want?
house.
Oh, they said they wanted you downstairs. Well, tell them who. Well, the woman who you... Yes, her? What? Does she want me to kick her again? Is that what's going on? Okay, fine. I will. She starts, like, storming down the stairs.
Hello,
Who's
Salty.
this? She's, like, pointing at Ryan. And you
This
see
is
this...
Ryan.
I'll actually get Celty's picture so that you can see what she's looks like. But she's, like... She has, like, headphones, like, along her neck. And she's, like... like staring at you, like she just stormed out of her room, and
Mhm.
she like looks like pretty furiously at like the woman, and she's, oh, this is Ryan. She's from the school. Oh, are you here for the meeting? Or, well, that already ended, so you can go.
She's not here for the meeting. She's here to meet your father.
What? Well, of course, everyone is. That's kind of why she like looks kind of confused. Like, yeah, that's why everyone was here at the meeting. They all wanted to meet him. That was what happened, but then you came in and scared everybody away.
I did not scare everyone away.
I didn't take the shot yet. It was,
Sure you didn't.
Anyway,
It seems like maybe we should like agree on what happens in this very long time span, because I feel like, at least from my
Yeah.
perspective, the stuff with Melissa got kind of awkward based on how she reacted to Ryan, like in text, and so I feel like, you know, Ryan's not as inclined to like chit chat.
yeah.
Fair. But this is what Celti like, and Celti's like looking at you like she's really confused. She's like, well, if you're here to meet him, then you should leave because he's not available right now. If you want to come back tonight, then whatever. But he's definitely not in the mood. But by all means, come back later. I'm not gonna say no. You, on the other hand, she looks at Melissa. She's like, I should probably kick your teeth in while you're sitting there. And the nurse is like getting in front of Celti, like, no, please don't do that. And they're like having this sort of argument back and forth in the background. While Ryan decides if she wants to like actually like what you want to do from this point. Because Melissa clearly can't like move very far. So you still have the freedom to like do whatever. Like you don't have to stay here, obviously.
I'm a horse with a broken leg, basically.
You know, I feel like she would stay if Melissa didn't have someone taking care of her, but she has the nurse there, and
Right.
like Melissa kind of like like I said, put her in an awkward situation where like she like rebuffed her attention. So, I just don't see them like,
Right. So you would probably like leave.
yeah.
But then what would you do for the rest of the day would be the main question.
I don't know. I'm
'Cause,
still
like,
kind of trying to figure out like what would be Ryan's like interest in coming back, unless like, I feel
Mhm.
like she might be more compelled if she actually believed her father was there,
Right. And you don't really have any proof of that.
Nope, no proof. Just somebody talking.
All right. Well, I was going to ask Salty to show Ryan to the master of the house, but
Well, are you going to ask her that? Because she clearly doesn't. She just said, like, he's obviously.
All right, well
she's
maybe
like,
while you guys are like, chit chatting and like, bullshitting, I just like start, like peeking in all of the rooms upstairs.
okay, that could work too. So you find one door that's kind of like partway open. Like the first door on the left
Okay.
upstairs.
So I'll open it.
Inside you find like a bed. It's empty. A bookshelf, like a desk. Probably a computer. Some like old scraps of paper that are thrown all over the place. Like a pencil on the desk, that kind of thing.
All right.
Some beakers.
It doesn't seem that
On the
interesting.
desk.
So, I'll try another.
Like Celty starts like coming up the stairs, like, what the fuck are you going in his room for?
Wasn't Celty upstairs as well?
No, she's like she was downstairs and she sees you like going upstairs and she's like yelling at you now because you're going in his room. Well, you don't know whose room, but she says his room. What are you doing in his room?
no,
And she seems very frustrated
how would I please that? We're gonna win.
when you look back, like turning around at her, I guess.
I would get the goal if I close this.
You know whose room this is?
Damn, you figured me out.
You shouldn't just walk in here. It's rude.
Back off, okay?
She's just like standing in the doorway, like waiting to see what you do, like if you touch anything.
Again, go take care of, Melissa or whatever. Doctor, what's the fuck is her name? Mrs. Darkwall.
Oh, yeah. I'm not in charge. I don't want to take care of her. I don't think you understand. She broke into my house and started harassing us,
Mm-hmm.
and she helped kill my brother.
God damn it.
And now you're standing in his room.
Your brother, huh?
Yeah.
They always
He wouldn't happen to be that freak from the church, would he?
What?
Nothing. Just stay out of my way, okay? Just go, hang out in your room and do whatever it is you do, and just leave me alone.
Don't touch anything in here.
All right.
Isn't
So
your-
Ryan specifically just starts randomly touching shit because,
Hey, don't do that. She just starts getting like really mad.
she picks up
And,
books
like,
on the
don't-
bookshelf and puts them back. She flips through
She's gonna
papers.
when you start touching stuff, she's gonna like try to tackle you. Like seriously, like she's gonna actually like fight you now.
All right, go for it.
Yeah. So you roll a d10, and then she's going to roll also
Okay.
because she is not happy with you trying to like touch her stuff. And I don't think she's necessarily going to go into frenzy, but she is pretty mad that you're touching this stuff. So she's going to like straight up try to beat you up.
So just roll one die.
Yeah, just roll one die. Okay, so you rolled a 1 and she got a 5. But what's your initiative bonus?
I don't know.
Let me see. I can look it up because I have your sheet. Let me look. Your bonus is
Oh my God, everyone missed.
what's composure? So 4. So that means you have 5 in total, and then she probably have like So she beats you. So she's gonna like run at you and try to punch you in the face, basically, or like tackle you. But she's basically gonna shove you against the bookshelf. That sounds like it would work. But she's not like super strong or anything. So she's just gonna like use a basic pool of like 4 or something like not. Well, I don't even think she would have. I think she'd have like 3 dice because she's not even that good at fighting.
Wait, you don't have her sheet up?
Well, she doesn't really have a sheet.
So you
She's
just
like,
you just make it up as you go along?
yeah, kind of.
Oh, okay.
So let's see. And then,
Well, just give her 50 dice while you're at it.
well, that wouldn't make sense because she wouldn't have 50 dice.
Why not? Does it make sense how many? I mean, you're arbitrarily picking a number. Does it matter?
Well, it's not really arbitrary. It's like because each value has like a meaning. So like,
No, I
There's a
understand, but the rest of us are set to a certain number of total points. If you make it up on the fly, there's no way to guarantee that you're giving her the correct total number of points. Because right now you're arbitrarily giving her 4 for strength, and then next time you play her, you're likely giving her some other bonuses that wouldn't necessarily work out to be the same as what the rest of us have.
Hey,
Anyways,
so
it doesn't-
I haven't said much, but I think that whether he decides the numbers in advance or at the same time doesn't really matter because you'd probably decide on the same number anyways. He's just kind of going off what makes sense.
All right.
okay, so 1 success, and then wait, I forgot you have defense. Duh. So I don't even think she'd get to roll because you have defense. Obviously, are you dodging? Or are you going to fight back?
I mean, I'd attempt to dodge if some little girl
Okay,
with
so
a
then-
band-aid ran at me.
So then that's good. So then what you do is, I mean, she doesn't actually have the band-aids, but that's just more that's her general appearance. So what you do is you're going to roll 6 dice to dodge, and you just need to get more than 1 success, and then you'll actually dodge out of the way, and then it would be your turn. Although I think that uses up your turn. So, but you roll 6 to dodge, basically. Okay, so yeah, then you re-roll the 10, so you roll 1 more 10.
What is this for, though?
To dodge out of the way.
Right, but I already succeeded. Why am I re-rolling the 10?
Well, because you need more than 1 success, otherwise you tie with her, which I guess would it cancels it out. So yeah, you're right. So that you don't need to roll again. So essentially, yeah, she tries to like shove you into the bookshelf, but instead she like falls into it as you kind of move out of the way
Okay.
because she clearly isn't like skilled at what she's doing. And Melissa, you can hear the commotion upstairs, and you can technically go up there if you want, but you're gonna take wound penalties.
Okay. So I'm going to turn to the nurse. I'm going to tell the nurse, show her to the master of the house, but don't wake him.
But okay. I don't think he'd want me to do that.
Well, we could do that, or sound like the house is about to get trashed because I can't move around and stop them.
So right now she's going to roll a chance die to try to hit you again because you have defense.
Nurse is useless.
So she gets a 10 then, obviously. So yeah, she tries to like swing at you again, but she clearly has no idea what she's doing, and you're really quick, so you just very easily like duck out of the way.
Well, what
And
if I
you're like-
what if I don't want to? What if I decide to like not roll at all and just take a beat and let her hit me?
Well, do you have like a condition for that?
I do.
Yeah, you could do that if you want her to hit you and you take a bashing. Sure.
Yeah, why not?
Sure. So you would take a beat for that, and then I will
I have some condition,
mark your
right?
damage. Yeah. So basically, you mark this. So you're shaken. So yeah, you're kind of like normally you'd be really quick, but you're like sort of kind of you were shaken up by all this stuff that you've had to deal with recently.
Well, I probably didn't expect her to like come off and hit me after all this
Yeah,
because like I'm
exactly.
mostly reasonable.
And you dodge the first hit, and then she does this like really wide swing at you, and you just aren't prepared. So you're just like, you just get punched right in the face. But then it's your turn, or the body more like it's more of a body hit, and then it would be your turn. You just also need to mark your health, but you only take a little bit of damage. It's not a lot, but you just did just get punched, and then it would be your turn after that.
Where's my health on here? I don't even see health.
I will show you. So if you look at underneath your skills,
Oh, okay, yeah, I see
you
it.
have
I see where you're at.
I'm just supposed to make the boxes. I did not do that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, and then you'd have one hashing here. Okay, so yeah, she tries to.
So how
she
can I
makes a swing.
potentially gain that back?
It would heal back in a few minutes. Like bashing damage is really minor stuff. So
Okay.
like bruises and wounds, it would only take you a few minutes to get away from. The only thing you need to worry about is if she starts doing more damage than you have in your boxes, because then she starts doing lethal damage, which could be more dangerous for you. But it's really hard for her to kill you just by beating you up. But she's just trying to like take you out and like get you to leave the room.
Right.
So she's not trying to kill you. She's just trying to get you to leave.
All right. So Ryan takes a punch to the face, and maybe she finds it a little exciting.
That's true. You do have that. So what are you doing on your turn?
Well, I think I would probably just try to get her to leave me alone. Oh wait, I have an idea.
Okay.
Maybe Ryan tries to run out of the room and get Kelty to chase her, and if she does, she'd quickly run back into the room and shut the door.
Okay. So that's gonna be Dex Athletics, which you're really good at. You're really good at running. So this is something you're pretty good at. But since you don't have athletics training, then it would be 3 dice. So you have 3 dice to run away, and she doesn't necessarily. She's gonna oppose with her defense, which is probably like a 2. So then you end up losing 2 dice. So you end up with 1 die. Just rough. You can get it. Yeah, you could pretty easily leave the room.
Well, I couldn't since I just rolled a 4. But I don't understand how.
Yeah.
I'm not going to question it. I don't understand how defense it works against running.
Because what she's doing is she's like physically trying to like block you and stuff. So that's kind of how it works. It's like you're
Okay.
in close with her, so it's kind of hard for you to get out of.
So why would she
Yeah.
want to close me in? She doesn't know what my overarching plan is. It looks like I'm trying to leave the room, which you think would be what she wants, and she just told me to leave the room.
Well, I mean, now she's mad at you, and you're trying to like, sort of like move. So she's just trying to like keep you there.
Right. Okay. Whatever.
She doesn't even know you're leaving the room. You're just kind of like moving, and she's like, "Are you telling her to like get out of the way so she can leave? Is that what you? Because she's like in front of you right now."
Yeah. I mean, I would tell her to get out of the way. Like, you want me to get the fuck out of here? I will. Like, step aside.
She stepped out of the way because it's her turn. So she like stepped out of the way so you can move. And she's like, she crossed her arms and she's like, just don't.
All right. So then I'll leave the room on my next go.
Yeah. So then you leave. And then what are you going to do now?
I'll check a different room.
Okay. So the second room is closed. And then the third room on the right would be another room that's locked. But the other one isn't. The second room isn't locked. It's just kind of closed.
Okay. So I'll open the door.
So you go into her room.
Oh, God.
And her computer's like on her bed. And she has like sort of similar kind of layout to the other room, except maybe it's a different color. Like she has green sheets instead of like blue.
Is there a window in the room?
Black.
Oh,
Yeah, there's a window.
All right, then I'm just gonna go out the window.
Okay, cool. I'm not gonna make you roll for that because there's not really any risk of you like falling if you could just like climb down.
Well, I was gonna try to climb across back to the room that I want to get into, assuming that
Okay.
room has a window, which I should have asked. I guess does that room have a window?
It does. So that's a little more complicated, but
Sure.
you could try that.
I'm willing
That's
to
the
try.
same. That's the that one. It would be strength, athletics, which you end up with 0 in, but you could still try it if you want. But it's effectively a chance die to be able to pull that off. If you fail, though, you're not necessarily going to fall. You're just not going to be able to get into the room unless you get a 1, and then you might fall. Maybe.
All right, I'll give it a go.
easily placed in
Oh, you put a space
I
there.
see that.
Okay, so effectively, you're not really athletic enough to like. You can climb out of the window, but then it's really hard for you to like shimmy across to the other window and like get to that one. So you're kind of just stuck outside, but you don't like fall off. So you can just climb back in, that kind of thing.
Oh, can I just climb down back to like the ground?
Yeah, I mean that again, like I said, that wouldn't be too difficult for you to do. I mean, there's enough. The building is kind of designed enough, like easily enough for you to get down without hurting yourself. So you could drop down.
All right, yeah, I'll drop down.
Okay, so you get out of the house.
Yep.
So now you're like in the back, behind the house. So what are you going to do from that point? Are you just going to leave, or are you going to?
Yeah, I'm thinking about it. All right,
But
I'll go back in and talk to Melissa. I'll walk
Okay.
around the side of the house
you
and
walk
come back through.
around, and then
because
you
now
walk-
I actually need her help for something, assuming she's not totally useless.
No, she's like based on her injuries, she's not like out of like, she was able to walk and move around fine. It's just her face is bruised up, basically.
All right, so I'll walk back through the front door, which is no doubt a surprise to Melissa.
Yeah,
She
so-
kind of looks at you, sighs. She doesn't even want to question. She just says, I really don't want to know. So
Look, you want to help me, right? You care so much about me.
Mm-hmm.
Well, why don't you, do me a favor and distract that annoying blonde brat and, keep her out of my hair for, I don't know, 10 minutes? Do you think you can manage that?
The nurse isn't in the room, by the way. She's, in the kitchen.
Did the nurse just not listen to you when I said to go upstairs? All right.
Well, she doesn't want to do that, so she's, in the kitchen, making some food for you.
All
And,
right.
she's not paying attention to what you're doing right now.
All right. Tell Salty to come down here and I'll talk to her for a little bit. Hopefully she won't try to kick in my teeth.
Oh, come on. You're not injured that badly. I mean, your face looks like shit, but, the rest of you still okay, right?
Did you didn't tell her that Celty did this to you, did you?
You do realize that Salty was the one that bashed in my face, right?
You let that little girl beat you up?
Blindsided.
Well,
That's why there was 6 other people there.
this time you can see it coming, right?
Yeah, sure. Just get her down here so I can explain things to her.
So do you want to try that?
Sure, I'll try to get her to come down, although I don't know why she
Okay.
would.
She goes down to talk to Melissa, but that conversation isn't really super important because the idea is that it would probably distract her for quite a bit. Even if you didn't say anything, she'd just yell at you and rant at you over nothing. So yeah, that could buy you enough time to perform a basic action, depending on what your plan is, Ryan.
Well, I think I still want to get into the room, so I'm still going to focus on that.
Which room? There's 3 rooms.
Obviously, her dad's room.
Okay, so that room is locked.
Well, then why was Kelty giving me a hard time about picking up books in the other room?
Well, because it was her dead brother's room.
Got it. Leo's room. Got it. Yeah. Okay. All right. Well, I think I have a lock picking skill, if I remember correctly. I think I have 1 point in that. I think I do have a point in larceny.
Yeah. So you'd be able to pull this
So
off.
I'd like to try and pick the lock upstairs.
Yeah. It'd be pretty easy for you to pull that off. Yeah. That's Dex larceny. You have 5 dice in that. So that should be pretty easy for you to do.
All right. Well, I'd like to roll for that.
Yeah, sure. Mostly just to get it done in time.
You said 5?
Yeah, 5 dice at base, yeah. I'm not giving you any penalties or bonuses, so it's just normal. Okay, that's good enough. You barely succeed.
I was going to say that is about the best I've rolled this whole day.
It's good enough to get you in the room in time so that she doesn't investigate before you get in. So you can get in the room, and in the room it's not really, it's lit by electric light, but it's very dim, and inside you see a few paintings, a rug, maybe a sort of a altar. There's a weird sort of, and this is something. Actually, can you roll me a wits occult, please?
Sure. What would that be?
That's wits occult, and you also have a specialty for this. So 4 dice plus your wits is 3 dice. So a 7 die roll, 7 dice. Because this is something you're really good at understanding. Yeah, and then you want to re-roll that 10.
I don't get any other hunter bonuses, or is that only for combat?
No, it's for anything, but you just didn't spend willpower here.
Got it.
So that's 3 successes. Yeah, you definitely be able to recognize this as it's a ritual space. Presumably your father has set up a ritual space within this
So
room.
there's an altar and stuff?
There's an altar. There's actually you can see remnants of remains of liquid presumably by smell you could tell it's sort of blood.
Okay.
But there are sacrifices here. There are ritual tools. there are like I don't know exactly what it entails, but it's definitely like this. Like there are tools. There's like an altar. It's Christian in origin. Maybe some kind of sort of saint-based cult or ritual space.
Is
that
there
involves-
any kind of, I don't know, weapon used for these sacrifices that's still lying around?
There is there is actually like a dirk, like a sort of which is like a small, like a short sword.
All right, I'll take it.
Okay, it has some like blood on it, kind
I'm
of,
okay with that.
but it's not really fresh. It's just sort of like
Yeah, I'll try to wipe it off on my pants and like, you know.
okay, yeah. So you're holding that, and it's like very metallic. It looks very in this sort of dim light. It looks very special, like almost like a something out of like Lord of the Rings. Like it's this weird.
Yeah,
sort
I'm
of,
sorry I'm not wearing my combat boots. I'll just have to
ritual blade.
find a place to tuck it later, I guess.
It's kind of big. Like it's like
No, I know.
Yeah. It's not like a knife, but it's like a full on like a short sword. But yeah, it's pretty big, and you can also see that there are like vials, like these weird little sort of like small vials, and like distilleries, and like sort of almost like alchemical equipment, like stuff you like a strainer, like this really weird sort of like thing with like holes in it, like that you pour liquid in and it strains it, and then this weird like distillery type thing. So there's like a lot of weapons, sacrificial, things. There's like some kind of thing that he would use to do some kind of like liquid work. You have no idea. Well, you have an idea that this is used for some sort of like ritualized thing, but you don't know what exactly. But you know that something has obviously been killed with this weapon.
Right.
And that it probably involves some kind of. It's definitely a religious or occult ritual.
So here's a question. Since I originally packed a bag.
Oh,
when
I also
left-
forgot to mention the one big thing. There's also a coffin, like right in the middle of the room. I felt like that would be important. Your eyes are probably drawn to the thing, the actual that first, but then right near that is where the little sort of altar space is. Yeah. So you were saying about the bag.
Yeah, well, I'm just trying to think about like what I came into the space with. So I presumably
You do have a backpack.
I have a backpack, and I think I packed like 2 books in it too, if I remember
Yeah.
correctly from the text.
Uh-huh.
And wasn't those one of those books on rituals?
Correct.
So I think I'd like to use my clue and my book and see if I can figure out what exactly the space is for.
Okay, so that would be what I'd have you do then is you would change the die pool a little bit and you get a bonus then. But you spend the clue in
Understood.
doing it. So let me mark the clue off. And let me tell you your pool first because it's intelligence based, which is even better for you. So that's going to be, and you can spend willpower on this and you'll get your hunter bonuses if you want, just so you know in advance. This is 4 plus 3, so 10 dice. Plus 1 for the clue, and then you're also going
Wasn't
to
the
get
clue
to,
plus 2?
Oh, plus 2, so 12 dice. Sorry.
I don't
So
feel
you-
like I need to spend willpower. I feel like I hopefully can get it done with 12 dice.
Okay, and then on top of that, you also get to re-roll all your failed dice on this roll.
Okay.
So when you because you have a book,
Right.
so essentially that's getting you. So essentially, this roll you get to re-roll any dice that fail one time.
All right, so I'm rolling 12, you said?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
All right, so it looks like I have
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 failures. So you get to roll 8 more dice.
I also got a 10 though, right?
Mm-hmm. So 9. You can roll 1 more then on top of that. Okay, so that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So that's definitely a crit. So based on what you can cross-reference from the data that you have in your book and the presence of this sort of blood and the various things that you've determined, this is some sort of ritual for, and as well as the other equipment. There are 2 be performed here. One of them is likely involving some sort of sanctification of blood, or some sort of a ritual to sanctify like liquid of some kind. Like there's, you like sort of like holy water, but it's not that. It's something else. It's more like the reverse almost. Like you're making some kind of sanctification of a liquid, but in this case, it's definitely blood because of the odor that you're picking up and the fragments of blood that you see. It's definitely something to do with sanctifying blood in some way. So they're using this blood for some kind of purpose. You don't know what, because usually that wouldn't affect. You don't know why, but they're doing something to sort of sanctify it. And then on top of that, the actual sword and the sacrifices would suggest to you that the other ritual that could be performed here is sort of a sanctification of a weapon. It has something to do with the presence.
So they're trying to use. I would assume that they're trying to use some kind of blood magic and to imbue the weapon with the power that's been like bestowed upon the blood.
Mm-hmm. But so that would be a different ritual. But then you also realize they're trying to sanctify the blood as a separate ritual.
Okay.
And then the weapon is a different ritual. They're not really related. It's not like they're using one to perform the other. It's that one is one thing and then the other is a different ritual. But they're both within the same space. Like
so they're making an army.
That you could very
I mean, if you're
clearly
making weapons and you're sanctifying blood, the only thing that would make sense is that you would be trying to use the blood to control people, and the weapon is like in order to, I guess, empower them.
that would be somewhat like symbolically you could determine that, right? Because you were aware of what Merrick was doing, and now it seems to all make sense. He flipped out and threw the table because they were probably doing something with this.
Yeah, they were recruiting
this liquid. And so it all sort of clicks together for you, and you finally figure out what's been going on. Like for yourself, obviously. Merrick kind of figured this out for himself, but now you know for a fact like what has been happening for your own sort of.
Merrick was able to figure out all that stuff on his own.
Well, he clearly reacted when he was examining the liquid that was at the.
Right. I'm just asking out of character, because what you just said suggested that like all this information that I just gained in character, Merrick already had from. And then if so, that's fine. I just wasn't sure since I haven't been following other people's.
Yeah.
He was able to figure out that the blood was sanctified and that they were using it to build an army.
Well, essentially, like he has experience.
I didn't know about the sword, but like he figured they're doing the blood to make an army because you use blood.
Technically, he didn't know about the weapon. That weapon.
I mean, is Merrick that smart? No offense, Merrick. I just it seems like you've built this very strong character, and now I'm supposed to believe that like. This muscle.
The thing you don't know about his character is that the way he gets strength is by creating these potions. He's like an alchemist. That's like his thing. So like he can examine the chemical structure of like the alchemical structure of things.
I am technically a scientist.
Okay.
Yeah. He gets his power through like alchemy and stuff.
Yeah, I just feel like I haven't seen him played that way, so I find this to be news to me.
Yeah,
you've only seen like one part of Merrick, so
that's fair enough.
But that was good.
I don't know. It seems kind of useless, right? I just found out a piece of information that somebody else already had. It's like redundant and not very useful at all.
He didn't know about the weapon.
Yeah, but I'm just saying to have hit a critical and then to essentially be pretty much where we already were is just like, okay.
Well, you didn't know this. So
no, it's all news to me. It just seems like instead of, going through the house and like risking, getting beat up by Kelty and like going into a vampire lair, I could have just talked to Merrick,
That's what we thought you were going to do.
Well, I tried to. I got distracted by whatever, Cherie and Alice, and now I'm like, okay.
Anyway, you're holding this sword in your hand, and it you believe that it might be sanctified in some way, or perhaps that it was used in the ritual. You don't really have any way of determining either or, but you do see that there is like a coffin in the middle of the room, which is very strange to you because, obviously there's no bed or any other kind of thing in this place. And they're actually, one other thing you would notice is that normally these rituals would use candles or some other form of illumination, but there is none in this space.
All right, well, I've gone this far. I might as well, peek inside the coffin, right?
Mm-hmm. Fair. So you try to force it open?
I mean, is it locked?
It's not difficult to get off. It's just I'm asking so you're gonna just push it off?
Yeah, I think she'd be careful because she's not stupid. She has all these books. She probably suspects what's inside. She just needs visual, confirmation. Mm-hmm. So I'd imagine she'd just be kind of opening it like a crack, just enough to see what she needs to see. She's not pushing the whole top off.
Right. So you crack it open a bit and you see inside, you can make out features like skin at first, but it's very it's not necessarily very pale. It's just sort of dark. So you can't really tell what kind of tone it is, but you can tell that there's a person inside. And they're sort of their eyes are closed and that
do I recognize it as my father or not?
Yes. And the interesting thing about it is that it's not just your father, but it's your father exactly as he looked the last time that you saw him. It's not like he's because it's been 6 years, and yet he looks exactly the same as the last time that you saw him before he went missing. Literally exactly the same. His face hasn't changed. Clothing obviously is not the same, but facial structure and hair, all the same. If you had met him the next day, he would be exactly the same. So if you remember what he looks like, it's like looking at a photograph of him from that time.
Well, I mean, your parents don't really age that much to you anyways. You always remember them how they looked when you were a kid, so I don't think that would be a very good indication. But I feel like she thought he was dead, and she already buried him and has mourned him for years, and has been I feel like it'd be emotional seeing it. I'm just trying to think about how she would actually react. I feel like she'd want to touch him, touch his face.
You can feel his face. I'm assuming you do so.
Yeah.
You feel his skin is cold. It's not warm like you would feel on someone's face. It feels cold. Skin is cold to your touch.
All right,
and
I think
he doesn't seem to react at all. By the way, it's not like you're just lightly kind of touching him and. You don't...
All right, I feel like this is a little too much for Ryan. She probably leaves the coffin open, where she had just pushed it open to, and just kind of storms out of the room.
Okay.
With the sword or whatever. So hopefully Kelty is stupid enough is smart enough to stay out of her way, because she will definitely just she's gonna cut anyone down between her and the door to leave at this point. So
yeah, Celti seems to have gone back to her room.
Well, I was going to explain a few things to Celti.
Okay, so yeah, we could cut back to that conversation. I'm sorry. So yeah, you're gonna let's kind of cut back to that. So you're talking with Celti. So what do you say to her?
Hello, Celti.
What do you want?
I thought I would be nice and explain to you who exactly Ryan is. She is...
Yeah, I mean, he mentioned her, but who the hell is she really?
She is your father's legal, or rather birth daughter.
He doesn't have a family. That's a lie.
He used to have a family.
We're his family. I don't think you understand. He didn't have anyone before he had us. That's what he said.
You know that your father's a vampire, correct?
Am I supposed to answer that question? Ellie?
You guys, you are aware of what you are, correct? I'm just making sure.
Who are you, really? Did someone send you? Who sent you?
I sent myself.
Bullshit. He told us there would be spies. Who do you work for?
Okay, maybe I should explain this to you. I watch over this school.
She's gonna like kick you in the chest. Who do you work
I-
for? I said.
I work for the school.
So the school is investigating us now?
No, can you let me explain without you? Can you get your foot off my chest? I'm trying to explain things to you. You're not making things any easier.
She steps off of you.
Thank you. Now, please just take a seat and let me explain how this all came to be. Can you please do that for me?
She pulls up a chair and like drags it over in front of you and then sits down.
Thank you. Now, I'm not going to give you my whole life story, but how I got involved in this is rather simple. I heard about the party. I went to go investigate the party. I saw a lot of things happen at the party.
And then you helped kill my brother. I know the story. It's okay. You don't
You
need
know
to tell
what?
me.
Believe whatever the hell you want to believe. I have no part in your brother's death, but I'm not going to help. I'm not going to just.
So why did you come back here?
Why did I come back here? Oh my God. I didn't come back here. You dragged me back, remember? Are we just ignoring the fact that you punched me in the face and dragged me back while I was bleeding?
I mean, you were obviously planning on coming.
I was planning on talking with Samuel about his daughter.
Oh, so this person is his daughter. I'm his daughter. I don't think you understand.
Yes.
You think that he has some other daughter somewhere? That doesn't make sense.
Do I have to explain to you how this all went down, or I have to assume? I'm assuming the nurse comes back in eventually.
Well, eventually she's like has some food. She's like trying to feed you.
All right,
But obviously you can feed yourself. So you're kind of just like, no, I don't need you to feed me, thank you. You're not that injured, but she's just like she just leaves a tray for you on the couch
all right.
and then kind of lets you be alone with Celty.
Salty, I'm going to explain this as best I could. But on Ryan's file at the school, it says her father is a Samuel Talbot.
Oh,
You have to understand, I don't have all the facts. None of us have all the facts. That's why I came and talked to Samuel, so I could get this all cleared up.
well, I feel like things are pretty clear. He doesn't want you here, so get out.
He was rather welcoming of me.
Why?
Simple. We each have pieces of a puzzle and we want to connect them. It's partly the reason why he doesn't want you hurting me. It's why you even saw it yourself. He came over and he wanted to talk to me. Sure, got sent back to your room, but he still wanted to talk to me. Sadly, we got interrupted, but it doesn't erase the facts.
Whatever. I'm done with you. You do what you want. I'm just going to.
Fine.
You want to talk to him? You know when he'll be here. So just rot for me while you wait, okay?
Yeah, I'll join my parents soon enough, I'm sure.
She spits in your food and then like walks up the stairs.
Kinky.
It's like soup or something. So she spits in it and then like goes up the stairs and like slams the door. And that's when Ryan comes down with the bloody sword.
Oh boy.
Do you want to do anything or are you going to just stand there? Well, she stabs you to death. No.
I would rather not get stabbed to death.
Good work, Mrs. Darkwell. At least you can do one thing right today.
I don't know, being a punching bag, now being a live distraction. I think it suits me now.
You're right. You do look good in black and blue. So I saw him.
Yeah, I'm guessing you want. Do you have any questions?
I don't know. I have a lot of questions for him. I doubt there's any that you could answer.
So now will you listen to me and stay till 10? As you can see, I wasn't lying. Your best interests are at heart here.
I don't know. You want me to stick around in some vampire cult so we can all join their legion of the undead?
I have no intention of joining them.
It seems like bad news to me. If you're smart, you just, let me help you get out of here.
So you don't want to speak with your father?
What's the point? He's been, like, quote unquote, alive this whole time and didn't bother to come find me. He lives in this nice house with, like, that little blonde nitwit and her brother, and like raises them like their family. Meanwhile, I'm stuck at home with that asshole of a stepfather. No fucking way. As far as I'm concerned, he should have died that day.
Perhaps you should give him a chance to explain.
What's there to explain?
Not everything in this world is just black and white. He's alive. He must have had to abandon me.
Nonsense. Everything's black and white. Jesus. You're so deluded.
No, or maybe it's just it's exactly what my mother said. He never really loved me anyways.
That's a
Guess
lie.
now I know the truth.
I've been part of every goal, but just like something happened where like I just wouldn't.
That can't be true. That's not the way he reacted when I said your name.
How did he react?
He looked... The best way I could describe it, well, it was weird, really. I told him I knew where you were, and he immediately cast Salty off to her room, and he asked me if I wanted ransom money for you, which I told him no. I wasn't here for ransom money. It looked as if he was afraid that someone was keeping you hostage or something.
Oh, great. Now he's worried about me.
Well, let's
He
think
really
about
looked
it.
like he cared, though?
Well, let's think of it this way. It's pretty obvious that, as you just saw, he's rather disabled during the daytime, correct?
I guess.
Which means he could only move at nighttime.
Yeah, that's still like, 10 hours, a day that he could have like made some attempt to like be in my life. Instead, he let me live in that hellhole. He let me like live out on the street. Let me end up at that school for, the unloved.
Yeah, I should know. I went there when I was a child.
Yeah, you said that you're a orphan or something, right?
That is true.
I guess you turned out okay.
Fair enough.
Although you probably didn't have to see some dumb kid, burst into a million pieces on a cross, or, your boyfriend abandon you, or some monster girl just like vaporize somebody, and now this.
Well,
this is really not my week.
I did get to see my father's head bashed in, so that was a lovely memory. But I'd rather not think about that again.
I guess at least you knew he was really dead.
Oh, how about that?
You know what? I'll be honest with you. I don't even know anymore.
Okay, I got that right.
But, quick question. Out of character, I did get my aspiration that they did technically meet each other and touch each other. So, well, that sounds wrong, but
We'll see. It depends how the scene ends. So
it doesn't
I'm not
count.
going to say anything.
All right.
Well, it will, depending on. Well, if you count, I don't know. We'll see. I want to see how this ends before I say anything. Depends on how it wraps up, because more could still happen.
Well, for me, my wounds will be healed by the time he awakes. Then I plan on leaving.
What are you gonna do?
What am I going to do?
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe go back home. I did this really nice bottle of whiskey I wanted to open up.
You're just like that. You're just gonna drink away all the weird shit that's been happening lately. Just gonna pretend like there's not like kids off the street being like put into some kind of drug induced zombie coma. That there's not like all this fucking weird stuff going on at the school. I hate to say it, Mrs. Darkwell, but I think you're kind of trapped here. I mean, however this thing turns out, you're now a part of it. You can't just like go home and disengage. You can't just turn it off.
I'm aware of that. But it would be nice to unwind a little bit after all this. Re-engage at a later time. But for now, it appears the whole cult has been broken off. Earlier, there was a great gathering here, but me and my associate were able to essentially disband them.
What kind of gathering?
A bunch of kids basically were just running around, roughhousing, drinking.
I think while I'm talking to her, I'm gonna sit like back down on the coffee table with like the blade kind of pushed into the floor between my legs, and I'm gonna like pull out my notebook and start like taking notes. I'm gonna try to draw the room upstairs from memory and make note of interesting things she says about whatever she saw.
Okay.
In the
Cool.
meantime, I want to use my mage sight to scan the blade.
All right, sure. That would be well. How far are you gonna do it? With
not gonna
just are you gonna scrutinize it, or are you going to do
Scrutinize is
like,
only one willpower, right?
it's yeah. Mm-hmm.
It's mana? Okay. Then
Well,
I'll
no, it's willpower, but then you can spend mana on the roll to boost it.
Okay, then I'm just going to scrutinize with one willpower, so I'm dropping down to 2
Okay,
willpower.
because you have mana or matter, sorry, so you can do that.
So I guess matter, death, and
Right. Okay. That will work. Hold on. I need to look this up though, because this would be kind of complicated for you to do.
oh boy, I love it.
It's not impossible though. But keep in mind that while you're doing this, you can't really even focus on her. So if she says anything to you, you're not even really like you're focusing entirely all your attention on this blade, and you're sort of doing that.
Then before that, I want to ask her if I could look at the blade. Like, all right, well, let me see.
Ah, Glamdring, I see.
Ryan, do you mind if I take a look at the blade real quickly? I'm a little bit rehearsed in occult myself.
Do you hand it over, or are you gonna hold on to it? Because technically, it doesn't matter where the distance is. It's just more. Ryan?
Yeah, sorry, I'm just responding to a message.
Oh, no problem. I'm calculating some information right now too, so give me a minute. So that's gonna be okay. So that's not too bad. It's going to be okay. So that's yeah. Okay, I'm calculating the difficulty. Sure. Okay, so I have the difficulty in my head. So obviously you're already looking at this with matter and death, and you can tell that there is something supernatural about this weapon, but you can't tell exactly what it is without looking deeper into it, which is what you're doing right now.
It's also not only that I couldn't put on the
Um,
and I could if I
So what I want you to do first is roll me. I mean, because it doesn't matter if she hands it over to you or not.
All right.
What you're gonna do is you're going to roll your 1 plus. You can choose either death or matter, and that will determine the. And then you're going to -2 from that. So I'm assuming you'd want to pick death because then you'd at least get 1 die.
And I'll add mana to this, which is 3 dice, correct?
It's 1 die per mana that you add. This roll actually you don't add mana to. It's the other one. This is basically just you doing a basic scan, and the other one is more you trying to get more details.
I'll roll 1
Just
dice.
roll 1 die to see if you get any basic information, and then the other one is you trying to. Okay. Now you failed to sort of understand it just by that was you trying to basically like skim it. That doesn't work. So you need to now do some more advanced scanning. Like this is you looking deeply into the blade and trying to determine what magic is sort of at foot here. So what you're going to do is it's going to be oh, hold on. I have to take this. Give me a moment. I'll mute myself.
But I'm saying like they're
All right.
normal beer and stuff like that.
Well then, I'll entertain the crowd. Da, 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 da.
Dustin, please.
Oh.
Yay, it's back.
Yay. Now our plan to kill him will
Sorry. Sorry about that. I had to. My roommates were asking about some food because I had some burritos in the fridge, and they're like, "Are these yours?" I'm like, "Yeah, those are mine." Okay, so what's going to happen is you're going to roll, and it's going to be you're rolling. Let's see, it's going to be
Very
the
low
same
level.
rolls. So it's 3 dice, and then you only get to roll basically 3 times. Scrutiny for
So I have
maintaining scrutiny.
3 dice I'm going to roll 3 different times.
Yeah, exactly. In terms every time the player. Okay, got it. And then that's essentially how it's going to work. And there's a certain amount of successes that you need.
Okay, well, I'm going to use 3 mana and add 1 dice to each one. Is that okay?
Yeah, sure. So you're going to have 4
I'm going to have
for
7
the
mana.
first one.
No, I'm going to have 4 for every single
No,
one.
I mean, yeah. And then you're going to roll 4 each time.
Okay, so now I'm dropped down to 7 mana.
But you don't roll them in together. You roll them each because each time it lowers you're getting more information.
All right, roll 4. Got 2 successes.
Okay. So you got 2 successes. Okay. So as you're doing that, you're starting to sort of peel away you're starting to see the energy sort of peeling off this blade, like the same sort of energy that you see when you look at these sort of vampiric auras. You've kind of gotten used to it by now, but you can sort of peel that off. Like what you're doing is you're literally using your mana to like peel off like the parts of the blade that you are interested in, and then magnifying that and stretching it out and sort of like trying to figure out what that is.
All right.
So you've managed to do that, and you've isolated the part of the blade that actually involves the magic. And so now you're rolling one more time to sort of examine that.
All right, 4. 2 successes again. Yeah.
Okay. So essentially what that means is you've successfully analyzed. So now you're actually analyzing what this is. Choose to spend mana to add. Oh, okay, you spend mana to add successes.
Oh.
Sorry. So you're basically getting 3 successes. So what I want you to do is roll one more time.
Do I roll
if you
4?
get,
do I roll 3?
Yeah, roll 4 because I'm going to see if you crit basically.
Which, okay, I'm going to roll those.
Yes, please, because you might crit.
And,
Oh,
okay,
yeah.
that's-
There you go. So you do crit.
Holy
This
shit.
is very good. Okay, so let me see what you get here. You reveal mysteries as described above. Since the exceptional success do not apply, the player may choose one option. She can apply all successes. Even doing so, she can spend 1 point of mana to blot the mysteries so that other mages. No, you don't want to do that. Or you can spend another mage to cover your tracks, obscuring. I'm assuming you'd want to cover your tracks so that he doesn't notice, or like he doesn't see that someone has tried to do anything with this or whatever.
Yeah, that works.
I'm assuming you don't want to do that.
Sorry, what I missed?
Well, actually, according to this, that would cause you to spend more. I don't think you necessarily need any special bonuses here. So you just get all the information that you would normally get.
Okay.
So let me tell you what information that you'd receive.
All right.
So essentially, this is not magic as you know it, right? But this is a form of magic that you'd assume is related to blood.
Mhm.
Like blood-based magic has been used as part of the ritual. The interesting thing is that this because of what you can tell based on the idea is that you can tell this is linked to the vampiric auras that you've seen before.
All right.
You know that for sure. You know that this is a very basic spell. It's not very complicated. It's very simple.
So it's
That
almost
sort
like
of thing.
child's play to me.
Yeah. You're still an apprentice as well.
Fair enough.
But what you are noticing is that this is basically not necessarily a power that's used on the blade itself, but it's used to form the conception. Like, okay, you understand how imagos work.
Mhm.
And an imago in magic is basically that you form an ideal in your mind and then use that to create a spell.
Mhm.
This sword is not a sword in the sense of the ritual. It's forming the shape of a sword in the blood. And what that would mean, from what you can tell, is that this is used in some sort of ritual to create a weapon
So
in the shape of maybe a sword. It's used as sort of a template or a conceptualization of a ritual, but it's used to represent a weapon, but it's not actually the main part of the ritual itself. Because Ryan would believe, oh, they're sanctifying this sword, but what's actually going on is that the sword is a ritual tool used to create a sword. Yeah.
All right, I see.
Out of you'd assume blood or energy or something of that nature, because it's not actually a physical thing that's being created with this magic that you see. It's something that's being shaped. Because like as you shape it, it sort of takes a form.
The blood is shaping it. Right?
Yeah. Like the aura, as you kind of examine it, it's being kind of molded.
Mhm.
But it's not real. It's kind of like a liquid. If you put it in a container, it will form that shape. And what's going on is that you can tell that obviously and you're kind of doing this with your own mana, like experimenting with it. And you can see that if you imagine a shape, it starts to form. You're taking a sample of it, and you're seeing that it starts to form that shape.
So I can see that it's highly malleable.
Mm-hmm. It's this malleable blood energy of some kind of blood. Because the blood that's on the sword is malleable in a sense. So you can see it being shaped as you're experimenting with it in the magical space that it's in front of you. Because basically it's like what you're doing right now, I'm imagining like Minority Report. Like you've taken this aura and you've stretched it and you've moved it with your own mana. And obviously Ryan can't see jack shit of this, but you're doing it and you're sort of maybe moving your hands along with it too. You're not just doing it, it's a process. And she can't see like what you're actually affecting, but it's being affected. So that's what you know. that this sword is used in some kind of ritual to create
Other swords.
other swords, presumably using blood.
All right, I understand. That's all I need to know.
Sure. So do you say anything to Ryan, or are you going to because this takes you maybe about maybe less than a minute, maybe like
Like
half
it
a
looks like I'm in a
minute.
daze. All right.
Or yeah, it looks like you're in a daze. I mean, it probably would take you a bit because you have to analyze it for a short amount, maybe more like 15 minutes, I guess, would be more accurate.
Well, assuming since it's a crit, I'm assuming that like it went a bit faster than usually would.
Of course.
All right. That certainly is an interesting blade there. It's definitely not normal, but
What do you mean by not normal?
it looks as if instead of it being the aftermath of a ritual, it looks like it's supposed to be used more for a ritual to make more of itself.
You mean like it replicates or something?
Something like that. Essentially, someone didn't make that to be the final product of use, and someone made it so it can make more things with it. It's basically like a tool instead of an outright weapon.
I think Ryan would pick it up and like let it rest on her knees and run her fingers over the blade, kind of examining it more closely
It
because
feels sharp, like against. I mean, not like it cuts your finger, but it's not like it's dulled or anything.
So like, how does it work? Like, how does it make all the little baby blades?
I'm not sure. All I know is that, well, based on my study of blood and such, it's supposed to be used for rituals of making more of other types of blades. I haven't been able to study enough to know fully what it's capable of, but I don't know. I'm not so sure of the
then
process.
presumably my father will miss it. So.
By the way, Melissa, you can take an arcane beat for that at least.
Oh, all right, I'm gonna add that
Because you
in.
definitely would get that.
He certainly would. It looks quite important.
Well, maybe he'll actually pay attention to me for once.
Okay.
So did you mark that, or?
To arcane experience now.
Okay.
So now what? I'm stuck here till about 10 till the nurse finally patches me up.
So how much time would you say has passed?
Oh, it's been about maybe like 20 minutes.
What?
I'd say probably about maybe closer to 45.
Sure.
Because
I would have thought this would have been
No.
like 2 hours. I don't know what like time frame you guys are working under.
Yeah, I'd say 45 minutes makes sense.
So how long do we have until this thing happens?
Another I think 10 hours.
about 9 probably now. So
Yeah.
All right, so are we gonna do some kind of fast forwarding? Because I still need to leave in 20 minutes or whatever, 40 minutes.
I was going to fast forward. I was just asking you what you were doing, and then I can fast forward.
okay.
Yeah,
So,
seems like they had a good conversation about this.
let's say that they just relax until.
Okay, I mean that's what I was waiting for. I was just waiting to see okay, what action are you going to take for that? If you're just going to chill.
Well, maybe I would try and text Shuri and see what's up with them because I did kind of leave in a hurry.
Yeah, they don't text you back.
Okay.
Sadly.
That's the weird thing.
All right. Well, that makes me uncomfortable. But I guess there's nothing I can do since I'm just hanging out here until whatever. So.
Right.
I'll just leave her a text that says please text me back as soon as you get this, and I guess I'll play Candy Crush.
Sure.
For 9 hours till my battery runs out.
Well, there's also there is also a TV and a full bar, so that helps.
Oh, a TV and a full bar. Well, in that case, no, just kidding. I'm still gonna play Candy Crush for 9 hours.
Chill. Okay.
Listen, you watches as you drink your worries away.
I mean, I think normally she would drink, but I feel like under these circumstances, like she already feels kind of outmatched. I mean, she's obviously in like a
And then,
vampire den, and
I mean, yeah, just really quick, Melissa, is there anything in particular? I mean, you've already studied this blade as much as you can.
Mhm.
You've already
I've
gotten an option for
all
that.
stuff to do.
Okay, so you're just gonna chill there until you feel better.
I'll spoon out the spit that Salty did, and I'll just eat the soup.
Okay, so that's what you
And
do.
I guess
Yeah.
I'll rest and regain 1 willpower.
every
I
time
thi-
Melissa closes her eyes, I'm just gonna
Sure.
flick things at her.
Okay, so I'll let you take a willpower back if you think you need it during the scene. But just to kind of move things along really quickly, because I don't have a lot of time now. Your father eventually does come downstairs once it becomes like the actual appointed time,
So
and you're not like surprised. Well, you are surprised, but I mean like you can hear him upstairs.
I mean, if anything, I'm anxiously waiting. Right, I'm pacing.
Yeah,
I'm like expecting this to happen at this point.
Melissa's just
I'm
gone
gonna
up
get the
stretching.
picture again. But he is going to be coming down any moment, and you can kind of hear him as he approaches down the stairs. And as the sort of dark moonlight kind of comes through the window, you can see his face. And he, like I said, he looks exactly like the day that he left you.
Indeed.
And he sees you immediately, and like takes a good look at you, like a good long look, like he sort of takes it in.
Well, I think she'd stand there, kind of appraising him as well, like her fingers kind of tightly clenching the hilt of the blade, because she doesn't quite know what to expect, and father or no father, this just doesn't feel right,
Right.
Well,
And
this is a rather awkward family reunion.
he says to Melissa, like, are you up by this point? Are you like off the couch?
Yeah, I'm off the couch. Like I've already stretched out. I'd say that I'm essentially in the middle. I just say I'm like midway between them against the wall, closer to the door.
He looks toward Melissa and says, "Would you mind leaving us alone, please?"
Will do, but I will be back. With that, I'd say she just turns around. She just leaves out the front door for the time being.
Okay.
Wait, she just left me here?
Is there anything you'd want to? Well, I guess before she leaves, I guess she'd turn to Ryan.
Before she leaves, I'll turn to you and yes.
Looks like he wants to talk with you privately. Are you okay with that?
Wait, you're just gonna leave me here alone? He's a fucking vampire.
He's also your father.
Was my father. Currently super dead. Just like, I don't know, don't go too far, right? Like, I know you're all like jacked up or whatever, but can't you like wait outside the door or something? Like, you're not gonna leave me here.
No, I'm not going to go back home or anything. I'm just going to be outside the house, keeping watch more or less.
All right, but if anything happens to me, I'm blaming you.
I suppose there's nothing better than. So then Melissa just turns and just goes to sit out on the front porch. To just,
Okay.
she's just gonna like I guess more meditate and just kind of like just relax her thoughts.
Your father looks at you, Ryan, and he says, like a very deep, meaningful sort of, "I'm really sorry. I wanted better for you than this."
Apparently not enough to actually do anything about it.
There are many things that I wish I could have done. one of them was see you again. And that has happened today. I am very thankful for everything.
Yeah, but where have you been this whole time? I mean, you just left. I was just a little kid. You just left me, let me think you were dead, like gone forever.
It was difficult for me. I was
Yeah, it
lost
seems really
myself.
difficult for you. You're living in this big, nice house, and you have a whole new family. It seems like things were really hard on you.
He's like sort of, you can see the guilt sort of sparkle in his eyes. Like he clearly is expressing this, like emoting it to you.
Set a timer for 10 minutes.
Oh yeah, good. You feel bad now, just like everyone else, right? You do something fucking terrible, and then you feel bad.
I am sorry about that man they put in your house. I had no say over that.
Yeah, but you let me stay there.
It was not what I would have wanted.
You let her treat me like that. I mean, all of this stuff happened, and you could have. I mean, you weren't that far away. You could have done something, and instead you just let it all occur. And then if it wasn't for, my teacher, wouldn't even be standing here talking to you.
He's like clenching his fist, and sort of you can see the tension in his face. If I could have seen you again, I would have. But I was afraid how you'd react to me.
Yeah, it was so much better for me to think that you were dead this whole time.
I'm not alive.
No, but you're a hell of a lot more alive than I thought you were. I mean, this is better than nothing.
I died that day in the woods. I'm not alive now, I assure you.
Yeah, well, I wish you just fucking stayed dead.
Please, don't say that.
And what's this about, huh? She picks up the blade and shows it.
I need to be able to defend myself.
From what?
I have many enemies now.
Yeah, well, maybe you deserve it.
You think so?
I don't know.
I don't disagree with
you
you.
are such a decent person in life. To see you like this is almost worse.
I don't disagree with you. I believe I deserve this too, but you were the one thing giving me hope. So don't abandon me like this.
Well, I'm sure it turned out to be another big fucking disappointment.
I'm proud that you've made it this far. That I'm able to see you again. You look... He's like eyeing you, and he's sort of... I mean, you didn't have all these like piercings and such.
No, she was just a little girl when it happened.
And she sort of looks at you. You look very sure of yourself.
I don't know. You made me this way, even though you weren't there. It was still your hand that shaped this. My pain brought me to this. And now you stand there like you're some kind of stranger, like you're so far away from all of this. You could have stopped this from happening. You could have, said no at any time. And instead you are so wrapped up in yourself that you just like, let me become this.
It's more complicated than that.
Isn't it always?
He's like stepping toward you.
I think she would draw the blade.
Okay.
I mean, she's not gonna like stab him or anything, but she just wants him to keep his distance.
You're using it to put distance. He steps forward regardless. It doesn't seem to deter him.
What do you want?
I have been looking for you all this time. For this moment, I have been waiting, preparing myself. I was trying to find you out of that place to bring you closer.
Closer to what?
I don't want you to be alone. I didn't want you to live in that place. I wanted you by my side, but they tore us apart. He tore me away from you.
Who?
The man who killed me. The man who made me like this.
You mean your maker?
That man who you call your stepfather was his minion. He wanted to watch you. I couldn't stand for it, and yet, if I did anything, it wouldn't be tolerated.
Watch me. Why me?
I'm not sure. Maybe he had his own reasons. I could only watch from afar. I couldn't get involved, and it pained me every moment I had to watch. And now,
How can I trust you? The man I love, the father I knew, would never have left me like that. Would never have, given up. Would never have
I haven't given up.
acquiesced to what you've become.
I haven't given up, and I refuse to become a monster. I have fought every day of my life so I could see you again, and now here you stand before me.
And yet, what was all this stuff with the church and the blood, if not a monstrous act?
It was not my plan. Again, all his doing. He told me to continue his, I'm not sure what, but some sort of covenant that they've become a part of. It was not what I would have wanted, but I tried to use it as an opportunity. Perhaps if I invited people from the place
You're the one who made the flyers.
Yes. Well, Celty made them, but that's not important.
You thought I might come?
I was hoping. It was all I could do. Hope.
All right, Ryan would put the blade down.
He tries to, sort of put his arm around you.
Ryan isn't quite ready for that. I think she would, take one step to the side, not move really far away, just enough to show him
But,
she's not ready to be touched by him.
Sidestep. Okay. What are you doing?
Well, what do we do now? What do you want from me? You want me to see that you're not a monster, then prove it. You want me to, stay here
Yes.
to be involved in some way. How do I know you're not what you look like?
I'm not asking you that. I don't need you to be involved. I just want you here with me.
Like a prisoner.
I can't stand to live without you, and I can't stand to see you suffer anymore. I can't.
I'm not sure there's a way around that now.
There is.
You sound so sure.
I am sure.
And yet I stand here and I see you suffer just as I do.
I suffer because you are gone from me.
So now it's my job to stay here and ease your pain. What about my pain?
What about your pain?
Seeing you doesn't make those last 6 years disappear. You being here now doesn't make up for all of the heartache, all of the bad choices, everything that's come before now. Seeing you here just makes me feel...
What if I could give you all the time in the world?
What do you mean?
If I could give back all that time and more.
You can't make me a little girl again. You can't make me believe that the world is okay, that people aren't inherently evil, that there's some glimmer of hope left in this terrible, sad, short, brutish existence.
No, I can't do that.
Then what are you offering me?
I'm offering you a life. Another life. Away from the life that you had. A better one.
You mean to be like you?
I'd hope so. He steps toward you again, sort of trying to almost at this point like get like right in front of you. Are you afraid of me? Is that what's going on?
I'm not afraid of you. You're but a shadow of who you once were. A poor image, a bad puppeteer. Everything about you feels fake.
But I'm the same man. The same man that you remember. Am I
No,
not?
you only look like him. Our years apart have changed us both. You are no more the man that you were then than I am the little girl. There are many things that you can do, but you cannot turn back time.
He looks down into your eyes. I don't mean to turn anything back. I just want a future. A future I can be proud of. You understand? I don't care about the past anymore. The past is the past.
Is he
I'm look-
using any kind of like special power on her or anything, or is this just purely a
he's-
conversation?
Well, he's looking at you.
Right, but I mean,
If he's doing anything, I will let you know.
okay,
At the moment, he's just looking at you.
okay.
And he says, the past is the past. I think for the
For
future.
8 minutes.
I have my time. And a time that will not be ending anytime soon. The past can be forgotten. I only choose.
And what
to the
about
future.
me? What of
With
my
you.
choice?
Would you choose to be without me? Would you choose to live on the streets? Would you choose to suffer when you could have a better place here? This house, this life could be yours.
I've been without you this whole time. I have suffered. I have pained. I've lived on the streets. I've done things that you can't imagine. If you wanted to save me from that, you should have came to me and taken me then. You're too late.
I'm not. Because you're here. We have a chance now to make a future for ourselves.
But what does that future look like?
I just want you to be happy. I cannot stand to see you live this way.
Are you happy?
She blinks slightly. Now that I have you, I could not ask for anything else. I feel complete. But
All right. If that's true, why don't you call down that little blonde nitwit who thinks that you're her daddy, who looks at you with the way I used to look at you when you were still alive? Call her down here and tell her that I am the one who makes you feel whole, that I am the one that completes your goals, your missions. Break her heart, and I will
you
stay.
want me to break her heart?
If I am truly what you say, if I am the peace that you have been waiting for, then yes, prove it. shatter every dream that girl has.
He takes a moment and goes up the stairs. Quickly, you hear rattles, screams, tears, and in an instant, you can see that she's Celty outside. Before you could blink, she's just sort of moved. And you can feel the wind rush past you as she sweeps past your body as if she wasn't even there, like a ghost. And Melissa, you see her crying and wailing as she runs into the street like a streak. And then he returns back to you.
Wait, Salty, don't.
She's gone before you can even speak. He returns to you.
What the hell just happened?
Are you satisfied?
Ryan offers out her wrist.
He it's this interesting thing where he's sort of like he isn't crying, but it almost seems like he wishes to. And he sees your wrist, and he seems to have this sort of very subtle, very sudden sort of motion. And of course, well, you can't see. Okay, but he undoing the whole, he bites into your hand, obviously. But it's very, because this is very, one of the things is that when he does this, it doesn't feel painful to you. In fact, it's sort of euphoric. Your body doesn't resist this. Actually, like, kind of, it feels very pleasurable almost for you. So it isn't painful, but you feel the blood like leaving your body quickly.
Yeah, that has
but
to
it
be
actually
confusing.
is more of a sensation because you're kind of stunned in this ecstasy as he does this. It's sort of like a toxin thing almost, or a sensation, because when in this lore, the way it works is that's just how it is. So you don't actually like pull away or feel any pain. You're actually just sort of almost mesmerized as he's doing this. And you can actually, what's going on is that it extends for a long period sort of experience. You'd think this would be a few seconds, but it lingers on for longer than you would think. And you start to feel yourself sort of fade and become dizzy and disoriented. And you actually, for a moment, feel your heart stop and you drop to the ground. And that's the last thing that you feel before you die. And the blood sort of drips from your wrist. He takes the sword that's sort of in your hand, kind of falls out of your... He pricks part of his wrist and then starts to sort of spill the blood into your mouth. And you've been dead for about a few seconds. And suddenly your eyes sort of open and you feel this very sort of painful sensation as your body forces itself to live again. Your entire form bursts with life and energy, and you become stuck in this strange state of living death.
Can I say I'm watching this on Death Site?
If you're watching this, yes, you could. And you see her writhing around as her aura is just sort of like writhing as well, and you can see it starting to shift colors and become very violent. almost writhing around, like crawling on the floor and in a very sort of feral state. And he's trying to sort of calm her with this blood, and trying to like lift her into an upright sort of position. But Ryan, at this point, you're very sort of out of control of yourself. You feel this insatiable need for, well, blood that you sort of have an innate instinctual understanding for, and it's consuming your entire being. You need it, and you're sort of almost reduced to this very frustrated feral state at this point, and he's trying to hold you in place just to kind of help you get your sense. And he's looking at you and he's, are you all right? And he's like looking deeply into your eyes.
Well, doesn't she need some kind of blood in order to like be able to respond?
Well, you're conscious now.
Okay.
So no. But you're starving, basically. So you're very angry.
Do I
In a
look
way.
all right to you?
Well, I just killed you, so considering that, he sort of chuckles and sort of pulls you into a hug, even though you're sort of like he's doing it almost to like restrain you in a way, like he's like hugging you in a way to sort of keep you from like lashing out.
Yeah, I think she would like kind of try to claw at his throat because like at this point she's just kind of.
You good for that?
Yep.
Okay. I will take you to hunt. I will show you the way of the night, and we will be together again. Would that be all right?
Sorry, repeat.
Oh, he was saying,
Maybe more like 15.
I'll show you how to hunt. I'll show you the ways of the night, and we will be together again. But this time forever.
Well, that's not creepy.
He kind of helps you outside and sees Melissa on the porch. He looks at you, and he's actually going to try to dominate you and tell you to get the fuck out. Like, leave. Because he wanted you to get, like, go away. And he's, like, now very frustrated that you're, like, sitting there and watching them.
Because his daughter told me that she wanted me to stay at the porch. Remember?
He's telling you to go.
All right, then I'll just leave. He doesn't dominate me. I'll just leave.
Well, he's doing this, so he is.
All right.
Like,
Well, I do have a resistance roll then.
Yeah. Well, you don't have any innate resistance unless you actually like want to counter it. Yeah.
And if I just let him dominate me, I just leave. Correct?
Right. Either way, you're leaving. But it's the idea that he's not giving you a choice.
Yeah. Then I'll just leave. I'll just say that I left and whatever.
Okay. You do get a beat for that though, because he's forcing you to leave. Like, it's not like he's basically denying you the option of even like not leaving. He's like, you are going. I don't care if you don't want to. You are leaving now.
Mm-hmm.
You go down the street and pretend like you never saw anything. Is like what he's trying to say to you.
Quick question: how long would this last for?
Probably just until you got down the road, like maybe like 5 minutes. You know, not that long. Like not even that long. Like it's just, you know, you go down the street and then it would wear off, and you just be like, where, you know, you wouldn't really remember where you are.
Whatever.
So it's not like that extreme. Like he's just telling you to get away from his house. So you get away from his house, and then
Not even a single shred of appreciation. All right.
but you do get a beat for that for free. So that's I think that's pretty generous of me.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah.
And this is the end of the session.
Well, of course, and I mean the context would be that he is going to be taking her out at night to sort of try to find her someone to feed from. But that is where we're ending this arc for now.
I feel like I would feel bad because I would have liked to have like talked to Melissa about this, but at this point, I think she's just so hungry she can't like really
Right.
process anything.
Yeah, of course. You want to say? I mean, you have Melissa's. You could get in contact with her somehow, but right now
True.
it's not really like on your mind because you're very, very on edge.
Indeed.
So yeah, that's where we're leaving off. And next time, you're going to get some blood, I hope.
And I have
This-
5
go well.
experience now.
And you have 5 experience. You're left in the middle of the street at night, and you seem kind of your brain kind of tries to figure out what just happened at first, and after a while you remember what you were trying to do, and you can kind of see them in the distance, like in silhouette, sort of walking off down the street.
I can.
Yeah.
Melissa just kind of shrugs it off. I did my
Just so
job.
that you get the satisfaction of knowing that you kind of did what you wanted, although you also realize that Ryan has been corrupted by some kind of clearly not human force.
Well, I know
Okay.
that she's a vampire now. Well, what if she?
More or less. Yeah.
Because I literally saw the process. I looked at the process with Death's Eye. Like, essentially, Melissa just shrugs it off, and in her honest opinion, it's like if that's what the family wants to do, that's what the family's going to do. She didn't hear a struggle, so if she thinks that's what Ryan wanted, so she can care less. The reunion, it's a twisted reunion, but she can care less, I guess, because she did her job.
Right.
What a good teacher.
Yeah. Yeah,
My
thanks for
son's a blood fucking monster now, but
thanks for saving me.
I did my job.
Yeah, I also blame Melissa for
No,
not.
I was going to say, I love that quote of like, if something happens to me, I blame you. So now it's all her fault.
Yeah, well, it's her fault on a few levels, right? Because like part of it is because she like
She could have very easily stopped this from happening.
yeah, but also like her rebuffing Ryan like changed the course of their like personal relationship in a way that like
Are you excited to be a vampire now? I'm curious.
I don't really know what it entails, so I feel like I'm still
So-
just kind of
So this is against your will? It sounded to me that there was no struggle. You literally gave him your hand, didn't you?
Well, I mean, out of character kind of thing.
Oh,
Not-
no, that's not on me.
no, it's still on you.
Nah,
No, I
mean,
mean, out of
clean.
I'm good.
No, I mean she makes bad decisions, and you had the opportunity to stop her from making one.
So you want to take a little bit of time to get used to this, I guess is what you're saying.
Yeah, I mean, I assume this is gonna. I don't know I don't know what this changes or means for me. I guess as a character, I think the transformation in general is interesting because I feel like that's sort of part of the point of like the World of Darkness universe is to like
Correct.
undergo some kind of change. I just don't know. Like, I have a few ideas about how I want to play it, but I don't know how that fits into like kind of.
Okay, we'll talk about it for sure.
Yeah.
Because I need to update your character now before we move on. So not like today. Eventually, we'll need to
Yeah, of
work
course.
that out.
I'm just like, and I wanted to kill Talbot, but no.
Hey, like, are you gonna become that guy who kills her sire and then she has to deal with being alone? You know what that's like.
Well, wouldn't
Dustin.
he just kill her too?
Yeah, well, that's a good point. You kill both of them. Would you do that? No.
I'm like, I don't know. I'm in part debating because it's like, well, she doesn't have to live off mortals. Like, we've discussed this for
She
vampires.
could.
Yeah,
She
Sophie
could.
drinks off wolf blood.
She could drink animals up to a point until she gets, tired of it.
But yeah,
Of course,
it's kind
of course, he's not planning on taking her to feed on animals. It's not going to fill her up at all. So that's definitely not his
Just
goal.
kill
right?
20 squirrels and you'll be good.
20.
20.
Fine.
Eat them like drink them like little juice packs.
He's-
You just put a straw in them and
What? Oh, by the way, so you get so you are completing this aspiration. So I'm gonna hand out beats now because that's a thing I'm doing.
Ooh. Oh yeah, I get all my willpower back. Excellent.
Yes, you get all your willpower back, and you get another beat for completing the session. And she's getting 2, and
Do
you're
I get-
getting 1 also because you also completed your goal of bringing them together.
I already added that in. Do I get another arcane beat for witnessing a transformation like that?
Sure. You know what? Okay, fair. I think that's
it's for
fair.
everyone except for me.
I'm totally the best teacher ever.
So you're getting 2 more beats.
Okay.
Oh, and also because you're not really a hunter anymore, I'm taking the practical experience that you got and kind of moving it over to your normal. So you could just spin that as if you, yeah. So you're gonna have 4 experience. Yeah, 4 experience.
When he wakes up.
So, what can I do with this experience again?
You can spend it to upgrade your skills, your attributes, your let's see. Let me look at the book real quick. I will tell you. I know you can use it to upgrade your skills or your attributes. You can also use it to buy merits, like new merits, that kind of thing. Your character is also just going to get extra attributes from being a vampire, and also your skills won't change though. But
Yeah, well, I think I'll just see what happens after the transformation, and then decide what I want to do with those 4 experience. Because it seems like it's probably not useful just to have them like racking up, right?
No,
I probably want to do something with them.
I know plenty of people who played, like, the way World of Darkness experience works is that you gain it and you can spend it whenever. I've known people who forget. I've heard of people who have like hundreds of experience points that they forget to use. So it's not that weird, but it's not like you can just spend them whenever I allow it. So there's no penalty or limit to when you can spend them. You can choose to spend them whenever makes sense.
Like,
You
I
can
have
spend
5 XP right now.
You can even spend them during a session, depending on what you feel like is reasonable. And sometimes you can get merit points for free without spending experience points. Like, for example, if you earn, if you become famous enough, you can just earn status through that.
Well, yeah, no, but at this rate, I'm gonna have enough to buy 2 Arcana.
Well, hopefully you will, because that would be very good for you.
I have 5 experience and 2 beats. So yeah,
Okay.
I'm almost.
So yeah, you've already upgraded yours. So I'm just gonna go to him and make sure he gets all your blood. He drank it.
I'm a great teacher. Oh, well. For now,
I'm
it's
just
off.
like, keep telling yourself that.
And now Celti is sad.
I feel bad.
But I like that choice because it's very obvious who he would choose. But you're making him sort of, you're forcing him into that choice. Even though he didn't even take him. I just want to be clear. When he's making that choice, it only took him a few moments to register his option clearly. It's obvious that he favors you.
Which is good, because I feel like otherwise she would have just been like, all right, well, that's that, and left.
Yeah.
It was an unfair thing to ask, but that's just kind of how she is.
Fuck my stepdaughter, who I adopted only to replace my actual daughter, who is now in front of me right now.
Time for me to go give Celti a hug now. I'm not gonna get
you
killed.
Can catch up
She
to
doesn't
her.
deserve a hug.
You don't even know where she is right now. Like she flew down the street super speed style. So finding her, well, you could probably track her, but that would require space magic. Which
all right, sounds good to go. So are we good to end here then?
Oh yeah, sure. You can leave. I'm just gonna be talking with everybody for a while. But yeah, you've done everything you needed. I'm very happy that I've gotten to run this scene because I was looking forward to turning you into anything. Well,
Into anything. I was gonna say, what if she just left earlier?
Well, I had a plan B. But
Add
now,
plan B.
now we won't need to worry about that.
All right, sounds good. All right, well, thanks for including me.
Yes, I'm looking forward to seeing how this develops.
Yeah, I'm curious too.
Okay, have a good night.
Yep, you too.